by the time this goes out, it'll be like the day of, basically, or the day after. You're going to be talking with Busta Rhymes on stage at NFT NYC. And I was just telling this is Varun. Hey, everybody, I'm Andy from Chainlink Labs. I'm here with Varun from the HUSL. And I was just telling him, like, I was a fan of Busta growing up, and like I used to listen to him in college and everything, and in my days when I thought I could freestyle and all those sorts of things. And he was telling me he was a fan as well. So talk a little bit more about that. What's that like working with somebody of the caliber of talent, in the entertainment industry for decades as Busta Rhymes?
Yeah, no, I was just kind of telling you, it's just funny how the circle of life works, right? Like I remember I was 20 years old, 21 years old in college, and he came to one of our events and just being like from afar, like just drinking, partying. I grew up on him. He's like my generation. And then to flash forward now where it's kind of cool to just kind of see now we have a business relationship. And it's neat because it's nothing about being with a celebrity, but it's about being with someone who has a voice and being heard. And he does have a voice, and it's nice to get along with somebody who shares the vision of what I'm building at Hustle. And yeah, it's just really nice to have that stage with him. And now being not a fan, but a business associate, it's cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about musicians in the entertainment industry when I was preparing for this, and how, yeah, musicians as artists, the interaction with the fans is a part of that experience. Like it really is, whether it's through live events or just interacting and what do fans like versus what do I need to say. The art itself is part of that interaction in many ways, which is why what you guys are doing is so cool. And like the whole NFT space and like communities and how this is working together, it just really struck a chord with me. And I don't have a conclusion with it. I just think it's neat, and I don't know how to think about it quite yet. How do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's bare bones. It's artist to fan. Artist wants to connect with their fan. Fan wants to consume the content. Everything else in between is all noise. The intermediary is getting involved, taking the piece from the artist's, hard work, labor. The fan doesn't care about that. And well, not just us, but just the NFT world in general is eliminating these intermediaries and allowing it to go back to its core principle, which is just artist to consumer. And it's a beautiful thing that we need to have.
Absolutely.
And
Well, let's get this interview started properly. I'm going to do my
sure.
little intro. It is Chainlink Live. Welcome to Chainlink Live, NFTs and Gaming. I'm Andy Boyan from Chainlink Labs, and I'm talking to Varun from the HUSL. We've already gotten into, the relationship between artists and fans, what NFTs are bringing. I'm already having an amazing conversation and thinking things that my brain didn't know it could think, and so that's exciting to me. Lead us off, and so from where you were talking about this sort of revolution with artists and fans, how's the HUSL positioned, and what do you guys provide more specifically in this?
So the core concept is being able to allow artists to interact with their fans, eliminating as many intermediaries as possible, giving them the power and the freedom to interact on their own terms and on their own accord. So we view ourselves as a record label, basically empowering artists and doing the promotion to show them what the NFT world is all about. Because, people like ourselves who are embedded in the crypto world, crypto YouTube or crypto Twitter. And,
Mm-hmm.
we take it for granted that we just think everyone knows about NFTs. We all know everything about Web3 wallets, MetaMask, OpenSeas, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And in the music world, especially the hip hop rap world, it is like a foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
So half the battle is educating these clients, these superstars, as to what the power is of the NFT world. Because at the end of the day, all crypto people like myself, like yourself, all we care about is adoption and being able to show the world what is going on. We don't want to live in a small bubble, right? In order for us to, for Web3 to take off, or DeFi 2.0 to take off, or just DeFi in general, we need the normie world to catch on. So once we start talking to these artists, their minds are just lit up. They're just like, this is what we need. And so that's where we position ourselves. So we obviously have the ability to, we have a lot of contacts in the entertainment world, which is, we're very grateful for that. But one thing that separates us from, other Hollywood people who, other music companies that from the outside wanting to come in, They just don't understand the crypto landscape. They don't
Hmm.
understand the crypto world. They don't understand the core ethos that we're all about. Like, I speak their language, the crypto world's language. I've been in Bitcoin since 2013. So I've been in this space a long time. These outsiders just don't get it. So that's what we are positioning in, and what we're aiming to do at the Hustle.
I think about what you said, that the larger community still doesn't understand. There's a ton of education to be done, and in the hip hop community in particular, there's a couple of notable figures. Busta Rhymes is one of them. Snoop and NFTs. Nas has made some really significant investments publicly as well. But that's only a couple of people. That doesn't mean the entire hip hop industry understands how the technology will work with their intellectual property, with revenues, with performances, and with fans. So that absolutely stands up. Um, do you think the hip hop industry in particular is excited about this sort of relationship with fans and this ownership in a different way? And I'm thinking about historically black record labels that cater to specific hip hop performers, that kind of make this kind of bespoke rap, and speak directly to this culture. But then there's this sort of give and take between a major label and major distribution versus some of these things. Do you think that's playing into people's understanding of this?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, hip hop culture. So one thing about the Hustle is not just hip hop. We do have the hip hop, outlet, but we also have producers from different genres. But hip
Cool.
hop in general has been pretty. They've had to struggle. A lot of the things that they had to do to get to where they need to be, it's a lot. You can easily say they've had a harder uphill climb than other contemporaries. So in any industry, one thing that stands out is the fact that 88% of music revenue goes to the non-creative. So by the time, say, Busta creates something, or say you have Palace or Gunboy or Mike and Key, someone else of a stature, put something out in the world, all the intermediaries are taking their cuts, and then they're
Mhm.
left with nothing. And then sometimes it takes months to years for them to see their hard-earned money with residuals, with whatever the case is. So it is exciting to them once they open their minds to see that, like, hey, I can do a sale and I don't even have to rely on the hustle to pay me my money. You set up the Web3 wallet, the smart contract set where the splits are, automatically go as the sale goes. Give me your wallet and it immediately goes. We know how that works, 80, 20, 90, 10 cents. We
Mhm.
don't have to touch it. And then you see secondary revenue on OpenSea, and then, once a month, OpenSea pays whatever. I mean, you could do it on our platform too, but like, that is power. And that's what's missing. And so 100% it resonates. And it resonates in the sense because it's super early in the NFT world
Mhm.
for especially hip hop and even in music. I mean, you have the Blows of the world, you're referencing Snoop, but what about everyone else? It's just people hear, but the industry is so big that they see a prime opportunity to become a thought leader, a
Mhm.
pioneer. And a lot of the contemporaries realize that this is the direction the world's going. And especially the older generation in hip hop or whatever, this is a way to kind of reinvent themselves and get with the times. And in
Mhm.
any industry, really, the NFT or blockchain, for instance, is going to, kind of revolutionize literally every industry. So it's kind of like adapt or get left behind. And these artists see the opportunity to not just get left behind, but become a pioneer. So it's super exciting, and to, monetize their worth.
You know, um, Something that always excites me when I interact with artists is they're not just artists in a given form. Maybe they are musical artists, maybe they're lyrical geniuses, maybe they're masters of a production board. But then when it comes to business too, they start thinking creatively and different relationships. And so I foresee, as a new industry, and because there's new relationships and mechanics and different sorts of things that you can create, creatives really glomming onto this and thinking like, oh, well, I can be creative in my business endeavors as well. And somebody who, like a Snoop, for example, or one of these older, it's not just becoming more relevant, it's a different sort of artistic and creative endeavor. So maybe it's scratching some creative itch as well. And then, of course, the finances that flow through enable it and kind of make it worthwhile to them from a business perspective. It seems kind of like an exciting thing.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. The creativity side is now they can, obviously, everything we've said with direct to consumer, without any intermediaries, and the financial gain is great. But one thing that's missing is the creative side. Here you have the ability to tap into your creative genius. For us at the Hustle, we don't demand the artists to do anything. We want to empower them. We're a platform for musicians, by musicians. We have people in the entertainment world doing this. We want to be the record label, but the true voice of the record label, meaning please do whatever you want. So for instance, one of our clients was this guy named Spiff TV, and Spiff is a huge producer in Latin America. Some of the biggest artists in Latin America that you can think of. He's a very well-known figure. He wanted to create a 2-week drop, which was called Animaltiverse, which was, using some sort of, digital art with like these PFPs, but attached with it was music produced by this guy named Foreign Tech. So that was the music element from him. But it was cool because we gave him the creative ability to run with it. And in the traditional world, they would be like, nah, bro, like, get out of here. Like, give me a song or you're done. But that's now the power needs to go back to the creatives. And that's why they're so excited. But yeah, the creativity thing is actually what excites me, because I love seeing the artist's head kind of spin and see what's capable and trying to figure out the best solution.
For years, the music industry has been, especially with streaming platforms, the pure revenue on making a song has gone down unless you're a mega hit. And so it's give me a mega hit or nothing, but you have to crank out songs and hope you get a mega hit. And so then, so you got to tour and you can sell tickets and hopefully you make revenue there. You got to sell merch. Hopefully you can make revenue there. And there's this constant sort of like, what else? But so to have this sort of option as maybe you can release an NFT, maybe you can release fan experiences. And what I just hear about what this guy Spiff did is he puts his up and coming friend on here as well to get exposure. So they're making their own personal relationships and creative statements at the same time and like doing that exact thing. That's super exciting to me. It's empowering artists to get weird, right? And that's why we love them, is they get weird and make us feel weird things.
Yeah, and you give them the ability to get weird.
Yeah.
And so, that's why a lot of crypto people, it's like in the traditional world, it's like right now having this interview, if I was in the traditional world, I should have worn a suit, whatever. I'm wearing a hoodie because that's just crypto, man. Like, we're all weird in a certain way. Now we bring the music world to our weird little conduit, and that's what they're all about. They don't need to conform to strict, guidelines and like, the suits of the world. Bro, you want to make an avatar project with some music elements, go for it. You want to make a collectible project, go for it. You want to give tickets to a private event, and if you buy the NFT, you get tickets to this exclusive event, do it. You want to release unreleased music as an LP, great. Whatever you want to do, let's make it happen, because your fans deserve the true you. That's how I do it.
I want an LP released that can then be an LP on Sushi Swap or something. Oh, sorry. Now I'm DeFi nerding out. You got to go see my first videos when I was doing this YouTube. I'd wear a button up, like all my fintech stuff, because that's the world I came from. I was like, oh no, that doesn't fly here.
Yeah, and I'm a lawyer by profession too. So it's like I had that whole thing, but now it's like I'm crypto all the time running this company. It's like, bro, my hoodie is like my favorite thing.
I'm a former professor, so look at us now. Of course, you guys integrated Chainlink, which is why we're having you on here and having this conversation as well to feature your project and learn about you. How are you using Chainlink in the hustle?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple things. So the VRF function is creating, we did that actually with this thing to create some randomness functions. Our developers are also using the oracles. I mean, first of all, Chainlink is a massive name. It was actually really funny too. It's like, you're talking about like, oh, Busta and us partner. I was actually a little bit more excited working with you guys because I've been a fan of Chainlink for a long time. So it's like being able to work and utilize your technology. It's great. I mean, there's no other oracle that's as powerful as you guys, and none of this stuff exists without oracles. So definitely the VRF is what we're implementing, and we're going to continue to implement that and grow. And our developers are using some other things as well with Chainlink, but that stuff is way over my head, and I would have to bring them on to explain.
All right. Well, we'll keep track of that with you. We'll do blog posts when we can and track that and make sure people know and have access to how the hustle is using Chainlink in the future as well. Plenty of potential use cases when it comes to revenue sharing with artists and IPs and smart contract distribution and all that sort of stuff as well. So I've got before we get out here and learn about your roadmap and all that stuff, I want to pose a question to you. Something that this is just a personal interest of mine. I'm fascinated by the music industry. I've studied it for a long time. There's this idea of a middle class for the music industries. like starving artist mode for a long time that suddenly gets a hit and makes, quadrillions of dollars. That's not a sustainable model for people to actually like live. And so finding a middle class of for performers and artists has been a challenge for a very long time, and for decades and decades, since the 50s. um, uh, do you think that having this connection to fans and NFTs and a sort of peer-to-peer model can contribute and maybe allow more of these lesser known, these are not the stars, the celebrities, this is my buddy Wes, who's like been a folk singer for 30 years. He's trying, he's not trying to make it, right? He's not trying to play out to stadiums. He just wants to make his songs and play locally and connect with people. Do you think this is an avenue for people like that in the future?
I don't think. I know it is. I know it is, because here you are giving a platform for individuals. And that's actually the thing that inspires me the most. It's not necessarily the superstar client. They're going to be fine regardless of the NFT world. They've created a niche, they're fine, although they will become better and more important with the NFT world. But the middle class is kind of like what really excites me, and that's what we're going to embark on, because you're giving an audience. And again, at the end of the day, you're building a community. It doesn't mean how big the community is, but each artist, by utilizing the NFT world, is creating their own sub community of people all around the world that would have never heard someone like your folk friend. They never would have known. But with the right marketing and the right company behind them, because you have to be able to market this individual, right? So if you're an up and coming person and you just decide to go on OpenSea and post something, well, that's great, but like, how are people going to find you?
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. You have to sort through it. So that's why someone like us, as like a record label, we find it, we think it's really good, we put you on the site. So someone like that is now going to expand his community worldwide. So people in Japan will be like, wow, this is really good. Basically, you'll find a sector that really likes your stuff, and it doesn't matter where you live. So you basically are creating just how NFTs create and make an e-liquid asset more liquid. It's the same with the community. Someone who might be only a local person in, I don't know, Tennessee, and they have a small niche. Now you just expose yourself to a global audience with the right marketing, and your life has changed. So that's how I see it, and I see everyone can benefit from the exposure that a blockchain-based company can give them.
I'm really excited to see how that progresses. That sort of middle class art. I know so many. I want to name drop here, but I would have to go on for a very long time. So if you are my friend and you have a band, I know you very well. I'm thinking of you, but I can't name drop all of you here. But I'm excited for those of you to find those communities. And maybe it's not super stardom. I know some of you definitely don't want that. That's just an exciting opportunity to like just be able to make a living and make your art and do that thing. Varun, it has been awesome, like getting to know you and the hustle. Hopefully, by the time this airs, hopefully we've met in person and are hanging out a little bit in the city. Tell us a little bit about what's coming up on the roadmap for the hustle in the next coming weeks and months. What can we get excited about?
Yeah, so we have a lot of things in the pipeline. So in the music world, we've been, out and about publicly for about a month. I mean, we've been building this project for 6 to 7 months. So we got finally our listing on Uniswap and building. So one thing is, there's a lot in the background that I can't share, but like the talks that we're having with the people in Hollywood would probably blow your minds. Basically now we are becoming a player in the industry. People are not looking at it as a proof of concept. We're an actual drop. So next week, Busta Rhymes is going to be speaking with myself, NFT NYC. Might be doing a private listening party at his studio, and Andy, I would love to invite you to that. I'll let you know about that. And then basically we're going to have a couple upcoming drops. So we're going to be Palace, which is a 14-time Billboard #1 producer, and Gunboy coming up. We have these guys, Mike and Keys, who are the producers for Nipsey Hussle. He was one of the biggest rappers back in the day. So we have really good upcoming drops. We're going to be a part of the Unison. Yeah, we're going to be a part of the Unison DMOS program. That's coming up soon. There's a lot that's going on, and we're just constantly building, constantly establishing these relationships to ensure that we're not in this for the next few months. We're in this for the next few decades. So constantly up to date and excited to share as we progress.
I'm really glad that we have this relationship, Chainlink integration, and we can continue talking and bringing you to our audience and vice versa as well. So you were talking earlier, we were talking a little bit about how it's exciting for the middle class to of artists to have this opportunity. Well, it's exciting for the crypto industry to have big names come, because adoption is that, and that brings attention and eyes and some legitimacy. So I really hope that is a mutually beneficial relationship over the future for the industries, for both industries. And it sounds like you're well positioned to be a part of that. So where's the best place to keep up with HUSL information? Is it Twitter? Do you guys have Telegram, Discord? Where do you kind of live?
Yeah, the best place is Twitter, the_hustle. You can find us there. We have about like 50K Twitter followers, which is great. Telegram, it's a good community. Definitely would love to have more engagement. So please follow us on Telegram. We do have a Discord, but it's not as active. So I would definitely say Twitter, or definitely come to Telegram to start it off. And as we build the community, then we'll branch out. And I think one last point to go after what you were saying with bringing, different celebrities in. It is important to bring star power into the crypto world, but you have to have the right reasons for these celebrities to come in, because the NFT world is going to laugh at anyone trying to come in just looking for a quick buck. So it's important that if you are someone of a stature, a musician, and that's something that's very important to me, I have to make sure that they sit down, that we're not looking for someone just to try to make money off of their name. They're going to fail epically, because the crypto world's not going to be down with that. So those that come in, understand the core ethos, and want to be a part of that, that's the only reason why I would ever deal with someone at the HUSL. So, but yeah, once you bring in both worlds, it's great.
It's not just peer-to-peer technology. Because it's peer-to-peer, there's this authenticity, and you can feel it too. Like, you can get a feel for when people are being authentic or not, and that whole thing. So Varun, it has been awesome talking to you. We'll catch up soon, and then we'll stay in touch as well. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. What a great interview. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. We did it pre-recorded, so I didn't get to any of your questions, which means if you have them, you go to the HUSL Telegram. Head right there. He plugged it. It's down in the description, so you can go there and pop those questions off. I'm going to join as well, so you'll find me in there eventually. You can tag me if you can find me as well. While you're down, clicking links down in the description, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Help this video out and get the HUSL some exposure, as well as subscribe to the Chainlink official YouTube channel. We do these a couple a week and feature really interesting projects using Chainlink in a variety of ways, and help kind of promote the ecosystem and educate people around that. So we would love to give you notifications about that. If you want to get notifications on your Twitter for these, you can follow smart_contract at Twitter, and at Chainlink Official for all the major Chainlink announcements. You can follow me too on Twitter if you want. I'm at Andy Boyan. If you need some dad jokes and the occasional 90s hip hop reference. I don't do too many of those, but Tribe Called Quest, that's my jam right there. Anyways, thanks for being here. I appreciate your time watching. Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys later.